Hey, welcome back to the vlog. Got another production going on today. We're doing a commercial for a bank. I don't want to say it's local. It is local, but we traveled to one of their further away branches over on the coast. So it was nice for a change of weather because it was ridiculously hot where we're from. And yes, that is the CRV you are seeing. At this point, we have already purchased the van, but there was some bad news, but you're going to have to stay tuned to the end of the vlog to hear what happened. So here we are just setting up. We're at the bank and we're at the branch. And at this particular branch, they wanted to showcase what they were doing for the community. You know, it's one of those going back to schools and, providing them with backpacks and school materials. And so, we were doing a promo for them. And the way it really started out was very unscripted. And the idea was, well, we're going to do this and you guys just kind of catch what you can. They're actually setting them up. So we were just going to do run and gun, almost like live event coverage type of thing. You're going to go and we'll shoot it. But it ended up changing.
A master we have, so that's done.
We're making an on-the-fly shot.
We're going to need each item. So we got the backpack, we got the piggy bank, we have calculators.
So what we're doing is we're turning this into a proper shoot versus live event, running gun coverage. We're doing more scripted now on the spot, which is great. I love that.
So, and I'm the only one that has to read this doctor's handwriting, so it's okay.
Mm-hmm. I told Josh he's got the wrong calling.
$5,000. Okay, camera rolls.
Okay, you ready? And action. And so now we're just kind of calling the shots and, having them repeat the actions and whatnot. And this is going to go a whole lot better. And I'm so glad that we decided to do this. And what I was understanding as we were at the shoot is, they just kind of figured us to be, a couple of guys with a camera. And, everybody does event coverage, so that's what we were going to do or whatever. They didn't know that, this is our bread and butter. This is what we do on the daily. And so we started changing it on the spot, and it just worked out a whole lot better. So we're breaking down. As usual, you see us here with the Ring gimbal, the monitors. We got the client monitor. We got the cart. We got the big light with the modifier. We bring the whole dog and pony show. And as usual, we always want to put the best foot forward, and I kind of talk about that later on the debrief in the ride home. But, we always want to put our best foot forward, so we're always trying to show, what we can do. We can do large productions, we can do small productions, but, we want to put our best foot forward, so this is why we bring all the nice stuff. And in doing so, I think we really impressed the client. So we're hoping that this leads to future work because, again, like I said, they are local. They are abroad as well in our state, but they also are local. There's a lot of local branches. So hopefully we can have some future work there. Hey, Josh. Post.
What's up?
Shoot. Quick questionnaire. What do you think the client felt when we rolled in with the nice cart, with the Ring gimbal, with the big light and the modifier?
Yeah, I think they were impressed. I think they were expecting, a guy with a gimbal and maybe like a little LED panel or something. I don't think they were expecting what we rolled in with. So I think that was good. I think it was pleasant. Surprises. Everyone, felt like, oh, these guys got it.
We just left the location where we just shot that promo. And I agree with what Josh just said, the client was impressed. He was expecting, a couple guys with the pistol grip, gimbal, and, just a small camera and just get it done or whatnot. But just wanted to interject here real quick. I know there can be a lot of stigmas around, people talking about their camera gear and how putting a matte box on it's going to make it look bigger and that's going to impress the clients. And that's not real, or it's real, or whatever. I can say by experience it absolutely is real. And I might have shared this in an earlier video before, but it makes an absolute difference. When you have nothing on the camera, people usually will come up to you at a live event and they'll be like, hey, take my picture. There are memes about this. And then there are other times where, I will put a matte box on my mirrorless style cam, or even when I have my Blackmagic pockets, which are a little bit bigger, but they're not big enough to look like a real FX6, FS7, FS9, FX9 or whatever. And so when I put the matte box on there, the client didn't say anything about the camera. The moment I took it off for an interview, he kind of looked at the camera and goes, "Is that going to be big enough? Is that going to be good enough for?" And I told him it's the exact same camera. I just took what was on the lens off. And that really just kind of clued me into there is a show of filmmaking. And what I mean by that is the client doesn't know what I have. They just know that looks expensive, that looks big, that looks complicated. And you know that there is a difference from what Josh and I call videographing it, where we just can bring, you know, the pistol grip gimbal and the small camera with nothing on it. And we can do just as good as a job. And then there's times where we can bring the whole full setup. And so the point I'm trying to make is, you know, we already have the gear for the bigger setups. So there's times where we bring the bigger gear to the smaller setups and we're ready to do it. And when we get that van in production, it's going to make everything different. But anyway, I just wanted to interject. Good foot forward, that first impression. This is why we bring the carts, the monitors, the ring, gimbals, and all that good stuff. It's the show of filmmaking. It's a good idea to invest in tools like that. Also, you know, we're still in the CRV, and at this point, you kind of know we went out shopping for a van. We got one, we picked one, we did purchase one, but Josh did the wise thing and took it to a mechanic. Mechanic checked it out and was like, "Hey, little problem with the transmission there." So we took it back to the dealer, and the dealer was genuine and like, "Oh, you know, I'm sorry about that. You guys want a refund?" And we were like, "Oh man, they're gonna try to haggle us and make us use the warranty." And nah, he was just like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I guess I gotta reimburse you." And so we were like, "No, we'd rather get it fixed." And so he says, "All right, let me take it to my mechanic, and if you want to check it with your guy later." So we feel pretty good about it. We should be getting it back pretty soon. But yeah, we're still here. How about that, huh, Josh?
That's right. Looking forward to not squishing and playing Tetris anymore.
Yeah, we were just like unloading and then loading during that time lapse you just saw. We were talking about, yeah, but when we have the van, we don't have to worry about all this. We could just roll the cart up the ramp and be cool. Here's a question though, and Josh and I have been talking about it.
Yeah.
What do you think? What's your opinion on putting not a wrap, but like our logo on the side of the van? Because there's two schools of thought.
Pros and cons.
One of the schools of thought is, should we be advertising, "Hey, we're Storyking Studios. We have a bunch of camera gear in our van. Please steal it."
It's like putting on a sign that says, "Hey thieves, here's expensive stuff. Come get it."
Please come get it. But at the very same time, we look at other businesses in town, and they have, you know, large vans like what we're looking at. Well, you can't see. I was going to say like that, but the exposure will not change. So, but it's big, high top, long wheelbase. So it's a driving billboard.
And most big businesses have their vans, you know, wrapped or logoed in some way. And
they have expensive stuff in their car, right? They got expensive Milwaukee tools and other measuring tools. So I'm like, I don't know. What do you think? What would you do? You know, kind of take the risk. Yes, we do have insurance. Yes, we do have insurance, and most undoubtedly we'll be taking camera gear off, you know, and expensive lighting off every gig. We'll be taking that off and putting that back in the house, where it'll be protected by lock and key and airsoft guns.
Yeah. We're not talking about leaving expensive stuff on the van overnight, but I mean, hey, things happen. Sometimes you have overnight jobs, or sometimes you're on production and you've got, you know, all of the lights on the truck, and maybe you don't need them all, so it's sitting out there while you're inside shooting, and you know, things happen. So, do we advertise we've got expensive stuff in here, or do we not? Because the billboard factor, right? I mean, hey, if we're advertising our services, that's good, and so we just kind of got to weigh that out and see what makes the most sense. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, what do you think? Leave us some comments below. I think also what needs to be said here is that it doesn't have to be expensive equipment. As you already know, I'm a budget, you know, filmmaker. I care about budget things. Like I said, the ring grip, if you haven't watched my episode about budget gear, go watch it. But you know, the ring grip, that's fairly budget. It wasn't the expensive one. The cart that we got was definitely budget. It's definitely not an innovative or very expensive. But there's even cheaper solutions like the Olympia cart that you can get on Amazon. Stuff like that, where it's like you don't have to get the most expensive one. There are other ring grips out there as well that are about $100, you know, somewhere in that ballpark, from Pro-Aim, and it's universal for any kind of gimbal. And so there are cheaper alternatives, but it still has that show of filmmaking. You can get your 5-in-1 reflectors, get the big ones, and there's more to it than just you know, it being expensive equipment. But the idea is that you're showing out. It's not just you and a mirrorless camera in your hand and I'm going to make this work, because you can, but you really want to show that you can do it. Take, for instance, Joel Gabrielson, the Cranky Cameraman, and Peter Mokri. All these guys have really nice setups when they use their production vans, and it looks gorgeous. And that's the standard you want to set for your clients.